So today what we're going to do is talk about what's necessary to make a profit in inflationary times like we have today. Some of the non-government sources are saying that we've had 12% inflation last month. I lived in the 70s and 80s when you had to pay 14 to 22% interest for a car or a home. I lived through those inflationary times. We're heading into that now, and it may actually be a lot worse than it was then. If you look at the cost of lumber and the cost of other inputs, some of those are 200, 300, 400% inflation in a matter of a couple months. So what all people need to know is what's necessary to make a profit, because a profit is what you live off of. So all businesses, whether they're small, large corporations, whether they're insurance companies, banks, Wall Street, hedge funds, or your retirement funds, they have to make a profit in order to pay anything out. And you have to make a profit on your wages or your side hustles or your small business in order to live on. So what that comes down to is if you have an inflation rate of 12 to 20%, then that comes off the top. So what's going to happen is a lot of businesses, a lot of stock brokerages, a lot of retirement funds are going to be forced into extremely risky business ventures because they need a rate of return above 30% to offset a 12 to 20% inflation rate. So an annual inflation rate of 20%, if you made 33% profit on your product, you only made 13% profit. In most businesses, they need at least 30% profit. So when you're looking at things and you're trying to save money, you got to keep in mind that you're going to go into a hyper-inflationary environment because everybody has to make a whole lot more return on their investment in order to eke out a profit. Now, in opposition to that, if you're a government, you don't have to do anything. Profits are automatic because as inflation rates increase, property taxes automatically increase. They'll just reevaluate property every year and they'll take more money. Income tax. If wages start rising to compensate for inflation and the income tax brackets aren't changed, then a lot of people are going to be forced into higher tax brackets and will actually pay more in taxes. So it's a double whammy. For you to make a profit, you have to make a whole lot more. So when you take into account the amount of profit you need to live off of, plus the amount of additional taxes you're going to pay in inflation, then you need what's called a money machine. They don't teach you that at Harvard MBA programs or any of these other MBA programs. They talk to you about a percentage of profit. Successful businesses don't work off of a percentage. They work off of the money machine model, where if they invest $1, they get $4, $5, $10 back. They don't get 10% back. They get 500%, 400% back. So in these inflationary times, in order to work out your cost of doing business or making a profit on a side hustle or selling anything and thinking that you're going to recoup, you need to be focusing on the money machine mentality. And one way to do that is to sell everything you can sell right now and pre-buy your consumables for the next several years. That will do more to increase and maintain your standard of living than any job or any position you're going to have in the next couple years. I had a teacher that lived through the hyperinflation in Germany and Austria. And things got so bad there that companies quit paying people in money because it was worthless, and they paid them in the products that they produced. So one week her dad would get paid by the factory he worked at, giving him 2 chairs. Next week they might give them a table, a nightstand. So when you think in terms of this hyperinflation, you got to keep in mind any profit is your gain in addition to the recovery for inflation. So keep that in mind. If we have 20% inflation, and you need to calculate your personal inflation rate, because the ones on TV don't matter. So if your personal inflation rate is 20% a month, then you need to make enough money to offset that. Otherwise, you made no profit. So please rate, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.